Welcome one, welcome all to episode 289 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, September 6th, 2025. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my co-host, the Intrepid Captain Logun. Today we'll be discussing Hollow Knight Silksong's arrival and incredible arrival at that. We've got Helldivers and Gears of War sales numbers, and it seems that Perfect Dark was canceled not once, but twice, sort of. As always, we hope you enjoyed the show. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, welcome back, and how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. It was a very fun move. It was a very stressful move for me just due to logistics, but I'm good. My body is still recovering from all the moving of boxes and stuff, and now I have stairs now in my new place.
Okay.
My legs are like, this is why you don't skip leg day. And I was like, I haven't worked out for a year. What are you talking about?
You were doing a good job working out. Boy, life caught up to you, and now you're like, oh, wish I hadn't. I get it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, new place always has kinks that you have to work out. There's always wrinkles that you have to iron out. So I think I had maintenance over for like 4 different requests yesterday just to take a look at stuff. So, but yeah, we'll get into the words of kindness about some of the other things that we have been running into. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be kind of like getting back into the swing of things and feeling a little more comfortable in my space.
Yeah. No, it makes sense, man. And I'm sure, because I've done a sort of this kind of trip, but nothing to the scale that you did. But like, there's something about a major road trip and a major life overhaul that is both exhausting and a little uplifting. Yeah. So I'm glad that you are where you are safely. It's nice to have you in the same time zone. I bet you that was easier for you to wake up this morning and
big
difference.
Hour to get ready.
Yeah. You got up at 11? Wow. Okay.
No. I used to get up at 8 and have to do the show at 9. Now I get up at 8 and I'm like, I gotta fill the time. I guess
I have so much room for activities.
Go and pack stuff, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, I see you're saying bring on the pumpkins, man. I'm right with you. The orange lights are behind me. I didn't know you were doing pumpkins behind you, but I did orange lights back there. So I'm there for it. Let's give a quick shout out to Matto1606, member for 16 months. Good to see you in the chat, Matto. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. I know Nerd Chat's in there as well. I believe that's Jose. We had him on as a guest last week. Big shout out to him. Yeah. I love Chippo. I just truly do. Like, you ever feel a kinship with somebody you've never physically met?
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I'll make it sound weird. Like, absolutely with Jose, I'm like, he's my people. I just know it. And so I appreciate that. We got Nissa Hauer in the chat. She was first. A Chick is in the chat. She is in there. It's good to see her. I know she's happy to have you because she was traveling with you. And our buddy from the trophy room, Mr. Joseph Moran, who also helped us out last week. And he and I both love democracy. So we've been dropping and held.
I don't know, but PSA, I think he still needs help getting his Ghost of Yotai stuff.
Oh, I mean, you're gonna have to fill me in on that one.
Well, the pre-orders for the consoles and stuff went out. So
did they?
I don't know if they've gone live, but I think that they're coming, and he can't, because for some reason he like offended someone along the line, or
at the Sony store. Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Big shout out to Wills, who says, "Hey, Mr. Laura, I imagine that's one of my students. Shout out to you. I hope you're doing well." I got a whole new slew of students, man. They're fantastic. I still miss my old kids too, and they've come down to see me. And there's something special, man, about being a teacher and getting some great kids. We're very fortunate. Yeah, very fortunate. So shout out to you, Wills. A Chick says that thinks she's recovered from the road trip. You think that now? Wait till I bet you it slams into you again a week later. You know. So.
Oh, dude, we got done with the road trip and genuinely thought that we were catching a cold. Turns out crossing the country and having multiple different like little micro ecosystems that you have to pass through, you start to like pick up dust and pollen from other states that you don't normally hang out in. And you're like, am I getting sick, or is this just allergies or what have you? And you're like, oh, this is just my body being in shock to sitting in a U-Haul for 5 days.
Yeah, no, I would imagine, man. Do you want to give your words of kindness first?
Sure. Yeah.
What you got, man?
Shout out to freaking Best Buy, who I had to drive an hour. This is the first time I've ever had to drive an hour to a Best Buy in my entire life. It's just really weird. And so Move came in, unpacked, put stuff together. I actually put my PC together last because it's such an endeavor to get everything set up. So Thursday night, I think, is when it was. Yeah, it might have been Thursday or Wednesday night. Finally put my PC together. And by the time I got everything working, I got everything set up, and I booted up my computer. I had it up for about 10 minutes, and it just shut off. And I was like, oh, I tripped the breaker. Okay.
That's not
so
good.
I unplugged the PC and I plugged it into another outlet. And then I looked and I was like, everything else is on. I didn't trip a breaker. The surge is still going. So what is the power supply? So I unplugged it, plugged it back in, turned it back on, felt the power draw in the lights when I saw them kind of dim a little bit. And I was like, no, there's no lights on the motherboard. I killed the PSU is dead. So I was freaking out. I was like, I called like the MSI company and they're like, it'll take 2 weeks to RMA the one that you have. And then I was like, oh my God, this is not going to work. I need a power supply where I'm going to go insane. Went out, found one on Best Buy, saw that it was like an hour drive away. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to have to go drive through the cornfields to get this thing. Drove out there, picked it up, picked up a fan for my loft. And then came back, went to bed, woke up the next day, installed the PSU. Totally fine. Totally, absolutely fine. So shout out to Best Buy for actually having a very similar power supply in stock.
Hey, yeah.
Because I don't ever anticipate like Best Buy's actually having good components in stock.
Yeah. I mean, they're such a different store than they were as well, you know?
Yeah, it's not like a Micro Center. It's not like a Fry's Electronics. Like you, if they have something that you need and it's a decent product, you're like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so glad that you actually have this.
Right.
So
100%.
Yeah, if not for Best Buy having decent stock this week, I would have missed another week of podcasting, and that would have been real painful.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, and I'm glad they had it because I mean, one never knows, you know, in those moves for sure. I'm glad it worked out because I would have been bummed if you couldn't make it. But I also kept telling you, I was like, don't stress if you can't, because your whole life was turned around. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, no, dude, tell me about the fact that like trying to like manage multiple accounts for like utilities and maintenance and getting in touch with people and making sure things are shut down all from your tiny little phone is not optimal. Like there is a reason why people have computers.
Yeah. 100%, man. Poof. Well, we're glad you're back. Glad you're settled. You're getting settled, I suppose is a better way to put that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Split End real quick. Yeah, I'll say Split End gifted a XEP membership. Big thank you to you, my friend. We appreciate any support and all support. So thank you guys.
Nice.
And I see a lot of people have already hit that like button. Thank you as well. Man, okay, so my words of kindness this week are completely sincere. And this is not an ad read, but it is promoting a product. And I want to be very clear about that. Gunnar Optiks is who I want to give a shout out to for a couple reasons. Now, to be clear, they sent me the 2 glasses that I want to give a shout out to. And I know you and I both, we've talked about Gunnar before, but this is not an ad read. Like I'm not getting anything for it, but they did send me the product. That said, Gunnar Optiks has absolutely saved me in the last 3 weeks. For sure, because in the last 2 weeks, especially because ever since school started, both for me as a teacher and me as a student, I've been getting up at 4 every morning, doing homework, going to because I'm Friday at the end of the day. Then I go to work at 6:30, work all day, and then coaching started. So I'm at coaching till 5:30, come home, screen time more. So I've just been fried. But and we remember that a few years ago, like my eyes had I had to go to the doctor. I had bad eye problems.
The pink eye, yeah.
It was not pink eye. And so I've been wearing their Hero Clicks glasses, which are the ones I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
They have been amazing for screen time. They make me look a little bit odd and old manny, but I don't even care because my eyes feel so much better when I wear them.
Mm-hmm.
So they've sent me the Clicks glasses. This is the Clicks ones. They're like $75, but I want to show you the other ones they sent me.
Yeah.
And these are sunglasses that I've been wearing at coaching. So like I've been going from one pair of Gunners to the other. These are the Borderlands Ripper sunglasses. They are fan freaking tastic. I like, they look fine. They look really cool to me. I think they look great, honestly.
You
but
do
I mean,
look like you're trying to frost your tips.
Do I
tell people about your band?
I don't even care because they have like the yellow Borderlandsy style, But I kid you not, they're the best sunglasses I've ever worn. They're the best sunglasses I've ever worn, and they look like Borderlands, the Psycho. And so I'm like, oh, that's just cool. But they are the best sunglasses I've ever worn. And Gunnar has absolutely saved me this week. I do look a little dumber. I'll give you that one. But I don't care because I've just needed it. You know what I mean? Like I've just needed it. So my words of kindness are to them because legitimately it has just been a godsend because my eyes are just tired. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just helped so much. So big shout out to Gunnar because it does make a difference, particularly as like our audience is our age, right? I'll be 40 this year. You're in that year. I think you're 42. I don't know how you are, but you're in that realm, right? And so it's just like, let's go. Like this is so helpful. Shout out to them. Again, not an ad read, but they did give me the samples, and I'm so here for it. I just love them. Split End in the chat saying he has the COD ones. Yeah, they're fantastic. I've worn those too.
COD ones are nice. I know there's some that are coming out soon that are in collaboration with CD Projekt Red.
I saw that press release.
Don't think we can talk about, but I'm interested to see like what they come out with.
Yeah.
So
same. Good. Thank you for stopping me. Not that I have them, but thanks for stopping me. But yeah, real talk. If you're a fellow graybeard or getting to be a graybeard, then yes, do it.
I'm old.
I'm old indeed.
I got called old on Sea of Thieves last night, and I was like, heck yeah.
Man, I get called every day. They call me Unk for uncle, All right. Well, look, man, a lot of gaming news this week. Lots of gaming news. And it's that season. It's that season. We're on the eve of silly season. And it got started this past week with Hollow Knight Silksong, which has just arrived. And it was so popular, Team Cherry's indie hit, and the follow-up to the first Hollow Knight. It's so popular that it is not only in Steam's top 20 biggest Steam games ever in terms of concurrent player count ever, but it's also crashed multiple storefronts. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam all had varying numbers of issues because so many people were trying to purchase and download Hollow Knight Silksong, which is just wild. Mind you, this is the game that had 4.8 million wish lists on Steam alone. And it's crazy to me because this is a Game Pass game. Xbox was having issues. Storefronts on PlayStation, Nintendo, and Steam all crashing. Even Hollow Knight 1 hit a record number of its concurrent at 71,000. That was for the first one. But once the second one came out, Logan, SteamDB is reporting that it had 535,213 players simultaneously and concurrently playing this single player indie game from Team Cherry. Absolutely wild. There's also people discussing and talking about how the fact that it's breaking rules because it's a $20 indie title. Good. I'm here for that. Fantastic. Beans in our chat saying he's playing it. Yeah, man, this is a big hit. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's really interesting. I think I saw a couple comments out there about how it's surprising that none of this is really like leaked or gotten spoiled before the actual launch. It was interesting to kind of see like how it was breaking stores because it was one of those situations where I think I saw like an article or something, and it was like, this is why we have preload for games on Xbox. Like we typically have like you can go download Outer Worlds 2 right now if you want, and you'll get a placeholder, and then it'll have like the installation kit. Yeah. And then as it gets closer, it'll actually preload the game closer to launch, so that this sort of thing doesn't happen. So you don't run into that situation where stores break and you're left sitting there wanting to play a game and stuff. It's kind of like buying games on discs and then having to go home and install them onto the hard drive. and just having to like actually, wait instead of just jumping right into the game. But kudos to Team Cherry for really kind of capitalizing on that zeitgeist. And hopefully the game is as good as it was. I was playing a little bit this morning, just to jump in. Well, it's on Game Pass. So
that's right. I just said that. I forgot. That's crazy. Yeah.
So I installed it on I installed it on my Xbox, and I was sitting there playing a little bit of it. There's the audience for it loves it for a reason. I'm already noticing a couple like game mechanics that I'm like, I don't like these in games. But it's pretty. I think that they've done a really good job with the design. The music is really nice. The audio that they have for the characters is really interesting. So I think they've done a fantastic job. It'll remain to be seen if this game's like kind of anticipation will be the thing that draws more attention to it towards like the end of the year when it comes to like best indie games. Considering we have had some of the best 2D platformers ever this year. Like this year has really, really shown that we've had like Ninja Gaiden Rageborn and stuff. We've had TMNT games. Like we've had some amazing side scrollers, and and it truly does kind of like speak to there is a growth in this genre that hasn't been seen for a while, and people are starting to stretch and push themselves in different directions compared to just letting things like Metroid and Castlevania really kind of like showcase those. I think that we've seen some really awesome stuff with like Dead Cells in the past, but people are getting away from the roguelike and getting more into the Metroidvania style of these games. And I think that it's done really well for the genre. And I think that if you're looking at stuff that is like technically competent in the genre, there are some big heavy hitters to go up against. But something tells me that the popularity of Silksong alone will be the thing that pushes it into the indie spotlight for the year.
I think you're right. I mean, I told the XEP Discord, we were just kind of briefly chatting this morning, and I was like, this looks to me like a great game that I will play eventually, that I'm just not, I don't have the time and energy to focus on right now. But like so many people were wanting it and anticipating it. And it's getting incredible scores. I just jotted a few of them down, and then I somehow moved or deleted them. But it was getting a lot of 9s and 10s, and it's really cool to see that. It really is, because it's so highly anticipated. How do you live up to hype of that level? And clearly its audience, if it's hitting 500,000+ on Steam alone, that's incredible. That's incredible, right? So I'm very happy for Team Cherry. I also appreciate I don't know if it's truly this or people are exaggerating, but the market disruption of a $20 indie hit that's hitting and doing so well. But it's nice to see that in a world of now $80 games, the $20 price point, the Game Pass subscription service arrival isn't hindering, it's actually helping. And I think audiences are speaking often with their wallets in at least in cases in my purview. An easy example is the Suicide Squad, the Concords. Those are easy examples of like, sometimes we don't want that live service everything. The audience that wants the single player stuff from the single player studio wants more of that single player experience. And you look at Hollow Knight Silksong as a direct follow-up, same genre style, everything to the first one, and it's doing very well. So I don't know if that's going to ever be listened to truly, but when you see major corporations stepping back from making big promises in the AAA space or trying to expand it, be the next thing, and just doing what they're good at, that's nice to have. And big shout out to Team Cherry as an indie studio doing it a great work. And you're right, 2Ds, man. Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, now Hollow Knight Silksong, very happy for them. I played and beat the first Hollow Knight. I love it. It's a great game. I tend to, because it always comes up, like I tend to be a preference of Ori. I even put Ori right there on the camera. Got a little Ori right there. I like Ori a lot, and I hope that what really happens is what we see with like Helldivers and Gears. Like, you can like both. It's okay. It's cool. But just so happy for Team Cherry and the people that really wanted Silksong. That's awesome. Now they got it. They got a great game. Bravo.
Yeah, I think the $20 price point puts it into that kind of like impulse buy.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to a store and you see something and it's cheap enough that you're like, I don't care, whatever. It could be bad, but it could be good, but it's cheap enough that I don't have to worry about it losing too much sunk cost into it compared to those $70-$80 games. If you're looking at those are going to be like the major purchases that for sure you want to have. You're not really going to on the whim kind of buy an $80 game. So seeing the $20 price point, seeing the $40 price point just really does kind of speak to mentalities that companies like Walmart and Costco and stuff, sell through bulk, don't sell through high quality items. You don't have to be an Apple to still be successful in an industry. So I like that they are going with that, especially considering they know what they have. They obviously knew that this game was going to be good and that people were going to buy it regardless. Very easily could have put it at a $40 price point and still sold tons and tons of copies. Having them go in through Game Pass clearly shows that they are comfortable and willing to take whatever deal Xbox is offering them for the sake of getting that day one. I'm sure they probably got a pretty decent deal, but just goes to show that, at least from an Xbox perspective, Game Pass is still worth it, even for companies like Team Cherry, who very easily could be taking a lot more money on their own just by selling the game at $20 through the Xbox store.
No, well said, and I would agree with you. I would be interested to watch, if at all, and this is nothing, right? But we're a month and change out from the Xbox ROG Ally X launch. Yeah. Switch 2 has Hollow Knight Silksong. Lenovo Legion Go 2 was announced recently. You got the PlayStation Portal and reports that the next PlayStation's portable. Like, are these games, are the Silksongs going to be piloting what people want? I mean, it was Sean Layden, who's very outspoken to a number of things that are not the company he works at, Tencent. But he's very outspoken and brings a lot of wisdom to discussions. The idea that when Sony made the Vita, they were trying to make a console experience and a handheld, and that was a mistake. People want unique, portable experiences, and you can look at Nintendo as an example of that. The DS sold like crazy, and there were a lot of DS specific games, so much so that emulation for a DS is hard because you need those two screens. So I wonder if that will be a marketing tool, or we see a continued rise of those type of games, the 2Ds, the comfortable play portably type games, or not. I just wonder that. I don't know a way that we could track those things, short of seeing Hollow Knight, Silksong, Ninja Gaiden, Ragebound, Shinobi, etc. in marketing for those devices.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about many times, I don't see a lot of marketing for those devices. So I don't know, maybe.
I think it depends on where your kind of algorithm is teasing you on in some cases. I think that it'll be interesting to see where handhelds go in the next few years as Nintendo and Legion Go, Steam Deck are still attempting to try and manage how to navigate like games that require fine tuning when it comes to aiming that people are more familiar with like mouse controls and stuff like that. And shout out to Ken Rosling for the $2 super chat. Keep up the great work. Hashtag XEP. Appreciate it so Ken's much. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Big appreciation. Thank you, man. We hope you're doing well. Ken, I like Ken. He's in our Discord a lot. Or it's somebody else with the exact same icon. But it makes me happy to see him. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think people want to have their cake and eat it too when it comes to the handhelds. For me, I see what companies are trying to do. For example, now I'm blanking on who. Borderlands, I think, was the company that was talking about how they weren't able to sell their game, or they weren't able to put their game on the cartridge due to the fact that the way the architecture works with the cart versus the hard installed thing, that they weren't going to be able to get the performance that they wanted to be able to hit what that game should feel like as an experience on the Switch 2.
Yeah, in short, they would have to pay for a more expensive cart to do that, and it just isn't financially viable. And they're talking about the Switch 2 specifically.
Yeah, so it remains to be seen how the handheld system is going to work to try and cater to the people that want to have the smaller experiences or the less taxing experiences of games like Silksong compared to the AAA stuff like Call of Duty or Borderlands 4, things like that are going to put your battery and your performance to the test when it comes to those handhelds. So we'll have to see how that goes. I think if anything, it's going to be one of those niche markets just due to the cost. Mm-hmm. So it really comes down to the gamer and what they want to buy it for, because I imagine they probably want to have a pretty good experience if they're spending, like Todd points out in chat here, that the Legion Go 2 handhelds announced a pricing of $1,050 and $1,350 for their 2 models. That is pretty high for a console market, mm-hmm. and not so high when it comes to a PC market,
right? And who are you talking to? Like, who's it for? And mm-hmm. that's the big question, because as these wonderful console walls come down and you're seeing games show up in more places, there was a report of, I want to say, a Capcom executive disappointed who was frustrated with some Monster Hunter Wild. Yeah. So, Wild. I forget. Is it Wild? Okay. Monster Hunter Wild, which is a great video game. Like, it's a great video game, but it's having some live service element struggles.
Yeah.
Saying that essentially the cost of the PlayStation 5 is part of what's hurting the game sales, because for any new gamer to go out, purchase a new console, purchase the subscription to play online, purchase the game, there's such a big buy-in at once. And there's absolutely validity to that argument. I don't think there's validity to the hurting Monster Hunter argument, but to play video games in a modern environment on a console is much more expensive than it's ever been. Not ever, than it's been in a long time. But in the PC market, like, par for the course, if not less. So there's this weird pendulum swing, and the market is trying to react to it. And there are so many examples of the weird outlier working and breaking the expectation. We just talked about Team Cherry, that we're just not sure what does what. For years, Xbox wanted to be the most powerful console. Didn't sell a single extra unit because of that, right? You saw the Vita was the most powerful handheld. Didn't sell units because of that. You see underpowered devices that Nintendo makes and they sell like gangbusters. Is that Mario, or is it the cheap entry point that underpowered hardware offers you? What are these various things that allow? I'm sure. I mean, right? There's no one size fits all answer to any of these questions, but trying to figure out market norms is very difficult. And I follow smarter people than I to often get some of that information. Matt Piscatella has been kind enough to be on the show, and you see other analytic sources out there. Alinea is one we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But it's just, I don't know what's what anymore.
I think it's very easy to draw comparisons between the smartphone industry and gaming industry at this point. We look at companies like Apple, who sell a more user-friendly experience at a premium price, but at this point they've got like an ecosystem that people have bought into, that are subscribed to their services and stuff. And when you have that kind of built-in user base, it is hard for people to uproot that kind of connection and all of the stuff that they've purchased and move it over to another ecosystem. So unless Sony starts to offer things that other companies can't provide, it's why I think Nintendo does so well. They are offering a cheaper solution to gaming that still offers some third-party support, but predominantly they are selling an experience that you can't get anywhere else at a better entry price than most other companies, and still being able to offer that home console appeal that comes from the other manufacturers for consoles out there. So they're kind of like in that everything is all in there, and they have the ecosystem and the games that people love that other companies are struggling to still kind of maintain. I think you're right about the market. I think that the market pendulum is swinging one way. And I think that as sales for games go down because the barrier to entry to get a console rises, those studios will then start to take a look at other avenues or other ecosystems to be able to bring their games to that are less costly for people to get into. And there will be pushback. And then the companies that make the consoles will then have to push back on governments to be like, hey, we're not seeing the growth that we are expecting. these costs, these introductions of additional costs into our ecosystem are too detrimental to justify the whatever they're getting from it previously. Like if they start losing players, they start losing revenue, it's going to get pushed back onto other areas, and that's going to slowly kind of bring that pendulum back, and we may start to actually see like a market recession in the cost of how things go, and people may actually be able to start buying games more frequently and worry less about like the cost of the game, and just go for the games that are actually good. But shout out to the studios that are willing to put out a banger of a game to coin, trophy room or to quote trophy room on there, and have a game at $20 that they know they could sell for $80.
I do want to point out though that again, that's an outlier. Look at Tales of Gonzera Zao. That was a great video game also at $20. The studio shut down because not enough people bought it. And that's they had a famous actor, like not Tom Cruise level famous, but like a very prominent actor, head of the studio, figurehead, doing lots of interviews, came on our show and we're much smaller than some of the heavy hitters. And he was on all of them, right? He said yes to everything.
Yeah.
And people just didn't purchase it. And that was an EA backed game. And so, yes, the $20 price point's a big deal, but we're talking about a different 2D Metroidvania. And so it's tough. It's tough.
So I would argue that the success of games at its core value comes down to the execution of the game, the cost, and the zeitgeist around it.
Of course.
Because as we've got right now, Suddy coming in with a $5 super chat for democracy.
Or democracy.
For Super Earth.
For Super Earth. That's right. Fellow Helldiver, good to see you.
Liberty this morning.
I also drink Liberty. And can I just note, every time Suddy kills me in Helldivers, I know it's an accident.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot. It happens a lot, Logan. My friend, he calls in the wrong stratagem. He's like, all right, bringing in a turret. And then we start getting orbitally bombarded. He's like, whoops, wrong one.
Yeah. It happens.
Got napalmed. It happens.
You know what? In the heat of battle, mistakes happen. There's collateral damage for a reason.
And let me tell you something. I'll kill every bug, automaton, and weird zombie thing for democracy. I'll do it because I love Super Earth.
Yeah.
And I know that he's bringing those orbital destructions down to help us. He's here for me. He cares about me, and that's what matters.
I want everyone to know that I support Suddy's choices in ensuring that the heretics amongst us are accurately pointed out and then orbitaled. So I don't know what Luke said, but I'm sure that he deserved it at that point. So just shout out to Super Earth. But to your point, to what I was getting at, the point that I was trying to make was zeitgeist seems to be a very big contributor to how well games sell. And I think that having Helldivers 2 have over a year's worth of time frame of exclusivity to really drudge up like that, hey, this is really fun, this is a really cool game, this is something that people should be jumping onto. Xbox players have not had that opportunity.
Right.
And I think that there's something to be said about the sales of Helldivers 2 on Xbox.
Talk about it.
Because of that exclusivity, because of that zeitgeist, because people have been talking about how good Helldivers was, how clippable it was for like Twitch streamers and for YouTubers and stuff to share those funny experiences where you throw a grenade and it bounces off a bug and lands right back at your feet. And you're like, son of a bee. Well, this is war. And you blow up you and a buddy, and then you lose your guard dog backpack. And then somebody has to call you in, and then somebody else gets squished because they were trying to go for the guard dog backpack, knowing that it was yours and you were going to pick it up. And then you have to call them in as a result. And then before you know it, you're out of Helldivers.
Yep.
This is just it's one of those things where like the zeitgeist of Helldivers has really skyrocketed the sales of Helldivers 2 on Xbox to a degree that I honestly kind of anticipated, but never in the scale that it is right now, at least based on some of the analytical data that's been coming out about it.
Yeah, it's wild to me because this isn't a matter of me. It's not, at least to me, it's not a matter of a PlayStation game arriving on Xbox in the same way that like Gears of War is arriving on PlayStation, because I don't know that everyone thinks PlayStation when they think Helldivers. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like that's the case. It is partially, but like Gears is a pillar franchise for Xbox is how I look at that. So for me to see that almost 1 million people in the 4 days or whatever, 5 days, in basically a week, jumped into Helldivers. I mean, it was what, 926,000 Xbox players are playing the game, or played the game, which means they bought it because it's not on a subscription service. That's wild to me. And I saw some outlets reporting that like it, way more than the first week of PlayStation gamers on PlayStation. Yes, but that's an apples and oranges comparison, because Helldivers had a year of building community, building hype, building responses, and there was a Halo Warbond that launched with it, as well as like new content arriving to the game. And so there were a lot of selling points when the Xbox version launched, which is really cool. I mean, there's a lot going on there, which is neat. I know on several shows, to include our own, I predicted that we're going to see 2 million Xbox Helldivers by November. I'm pretty confident in that still. I'm sure it'll slow, but then you get sales, and I think we still see 2 million, which I think is great. And I'm just happy to see it going well. But I did see that like Gears isn't going quite as well over on PlayStation. And I don't know if it's bad or good or we care, but when you saw the numbers, just over 250,000 people playing Gears of War Reloaded on PlayStation, I didn't think that was a bad number at all for a game from 2006 that was remastered twice. But people are comparing it to like Forza Horizon, would hit 1.5 million in that same amount of time. Did you find 250,000 in a week for Gears a bad thing for PlayStation?
No. First off, Sony players don't buy games, so we clearly know that's already an issue that they have. I'm sure it's probably because they keep hiking the price of the consoles, and everyone's already spent money on the camera. So there's a lot of reasons why they can't get, games like this. I think it honestly comes back down to zeitgeist. I think that the zeitgeist for Helldivers is so much higher than Gears was. And the fact that they launched at the same day, to me, says that PlayStation fans and PC fans who were playing Helldivers, who loved it, were probably waiting for their Xbox friends to get into the actual Helldivers to be able to go back and play with them, to jump back in, to have a reason. I mean, like, even I re-downloaded Helldivers just to jump in, because I mean, I've been like level 38 for a long time. I took a long break from the game, came back and couldn't remember what the heck I was doing, but I was still having a good time because it's a fun game. And
I played it on PlayStation, and I was about high 20s, low 30s, I think, on PlayStation. I'm now low 20s on my Xbox. I wanted to support this, and I'd rather play my platform of choice for all the reasons of ecosystem. And I'm just having a blast. Like, I'll put on a podcast, or really, like, now it's just audio versions of like papers I have to read and lectures and stuff, and just play easy missions and extract and just cycle. And that it's a great game for that, and the intense moments that you can only get in Helldivers,
Yeah. And looking at the sales for Gears, I have the opinion that the reason why Gears was even brought over was as a precursor to the characters for E-Day.
Agree.
And that E-Day will act as a buffer for the studio to release 2 eventually. And, we may get a remastered version of this. But at the end of the day, I think the people that were interested in Gears of War may have found other avenues to play it. And the people that weren't are probably going to pick it up out of sheer curiosity as to this being like an Xbox game that they've never tried. But at the end of the day, it is a buffed version of an old game. And there's zero love or history with that franchise. So it's always going to be like, you can look at a Forza Horizon 5 and be like, that's a GTA arcade game. Like I'm used to, or not a GTA.
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Yeah, GT game. You know, it's a racing game. There's no history or story that you have to truly understand to be able to appreciate it. You know, same thing with Grounded or Sea of Thieves. Like those are pretty straightforward experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Gears has a lineage with the 5 titles that they've had just on the mainline stories that they're telling, not including things like tactics or pops. And you have those people on Xbox already kind of ingrained in the ecosystem. They're already familiar with the franchise. There's no history with PlayStation. So if the sales are low, it's because there wasn't enough marketing. There wasn't enough zeitgeist around it to justify people jumping into it when they already have Helldivers and now they have new friends to jump in with Xbox people and a new promotion that's going alongside it with Halo stuff.
Mm-hmm. Todd Oxtra asks a good question, I think. Should E-Day have been the Gears debut on PlayStation? Gears Reloaded isn't a huge upgrade over Ultimate, which is 11 years old. I get the logic in that. I see Logan agreeing with you. I'll let him speak on that one. I don't think you lose anything by putting Gears Reloaded on Halo on PlayStation. I don't think you lose anything. I think it's really a net positive. Yeah, I don't think you lose much in this case, given all the things. We're talking about a budget title. It's an older one. The campaign is genuinely fantastic. There's a character arc introduction to a prequel. And so I don't think it's a bad thing. I know our friends at the Nerd Chat were arguing that they would love to see Gears of War to have the same love that the Master Chief Collection would. And I agree with that mentality, but I think that's something not everybody, I should be careful with that.
Do people remember what HTC was like when it came out?
MCC.
MCC.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. I don't think that's what we're talking about. We're looking at the state currently. But I think
it had a long time to mature, though.
A lot of people, I think, would want to see Gears have that same level of treatment and have called and asked for that. Yeah. But it didn't get that. I don't think you're going to see Gears 2 and 3 or 4 and Judgment and 5 all show up on PlayStation for a long while. I think Gears Reloaded was a quick relatively. Put it on the platform, see how it does. It's a net win overall. And because you had this like prisoner exchange marketing hype element, you sold 250,000 copies in 4 days.
Prisoner exchange. What the hell are we getting?
We got Helldivers, bro.
That's a second party game, buddy. I want Spider-Man.
Oh, I think if 926,000 people in 4 days bought Helldivers 2,
that's a good game.
Right now, Sony's like, Spider-Man?
If anything, they should be looking at the studio making Helldivers and be like, maybe we should have bought them.
If anything, anyone that's picked up that Halo Warbond knows that if you go into first person, that's the best Halo game experience of like ODST elements. Because like if you like Halo ODST, you know that you're not a Spartan. It's very different. Well, dude, man, seeing this and Helldivers is like, okay, there's a market for this too. So that was cool too. I don't know. It's just there's neat stuff to take away from this. I don't think these are negatives on any front.
Yeah, I think that with the what I want to do is I want to argue the point of Todd here and say that E-Day being the introduction, the kind of like the prequel to Gears of War 1 would have been a better starting point for PlayStation players, because not only is it a new game, it's going to look good, it's going to feel good, it's going to feel modern, it's going to feel like, really pretty. That will help kind of justify people's, reason to play that game on their PlayStation Pro, where Gears of War Reloaded isn't necessarily, because it does have higher graphics, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles as like 5 does. Like 5 is a testament to how powerful you can really make a game if you know how to tweak the settings when it comes to PC, or just how optimized it is for the Xbox Series systems, as well as the One X when it first came out. I think that if you go with E-Day, not only do you set up the characters better because it's a fresher take on it, than going into Gears just as a blind, like, here's these characters. I think the problem is that the story is so well told in Gears 1 that they can't release E-Day without some assumed information about who those characters are.
Right.
So I think that the newer game would have done better on PlayStation, but I think the story would have been harder to digest without at least knowing who Dom and Marcus are.
The points all make good sense. I don't think, and we are making the assumption, and we need to be careful with assumptions, that Gearsy Day is day one on PlayStation. At least I'm pretty sure it's not confirmed. Day one anyway.
It's close enough. I'm sure that within 6 months, like Indy is a Bethesda title. It came 6 months like afterwards. I would be surprised if they weren't trying to get to that point with Xbox.
Agree. I'm very confident in that. I just don't know. I don't want to speak like it is happening.
For sure.
I mean, like, come on, like, right. But I think Gearsy Day is going to do gangbuster numbers on PlayStation. I really do. And I'm great with that because the longer this walled garden is down, the happier I find myself. And that's a great feeling because I'm sure some of us that are on the other side of 30 and now 40, old, it was fun on the playground to be Sega versus Super Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, but it's not really fun now. I don't really care what Joe is playing on, what my buddy Herman's playing on. I don't care if you're on your PC. I care that we Helldive. I care that we drop in and get some dubs in Fortnite. I care that we play Marvel Rival. I care that I'm spending time with my people. And so who cares, right? Like, cool. And so I'm hoping Gears E-Day crushes it on PlayStation. And that those walled gardens continue to come down. So
and I think that showing the success of Helldivers for PlayStation says one thing. One, they have no clue how they should be making their multiplayer games because the one game that they did try failed and they killed it immediately, and they've shut down every project since. Helldivers is the one example of them doing really, really well with a fresh game on their system to be able to do live service and games as a service kind of thing. Having the success on Xbox shows that they need to trust in their studios to do the thing that they do well instead of trying to force them to do something that they're not familiar with, and just look for studios that are already in that kind of mindset of making games as a live service and just let them do their thing and give them the like Bungie is already misstepping in certain areas with Marathon. And you can see the noose tightening around their neck by Sony. And I'm like, that is not how you fix this. You let this company No Man's Sky this thing until it's amazing. And then you reap the benefits of having it as like a first party title.
It's funny because I watched like what Sony's doing to Fair Games and Marathon, and we see this in the industry in general. And I also see it like in the school systems. Like they don't see the result they want here and there, and they tighten the reins. And what they should be doing is loosening to allow more freedom of creativity and address more dynamic ways to address a problem, but they just don't. And I feel like it's because there are so many people that are on high in these studios, and they're so detached from the game development side of things. They don't know how to let it go on. And that's not to say there's not plenty of developers that are bad at efficiency, right? BioShock is a good example. Anthem is a good example. Those are two EA ones, but Halo Infinite was a good example. There's a number. You can go back to any number of games that are in development hell. Everwild. Yeah. Didn't someone from Everwild get a promotion?
Luis O'Connor, who
is that good? I don't know this person, so I don't want to speak ill of them.
They're a fabulous human being.
Okay.
Gotcha. And deserve getting into the chief of staff position over at Xbox Game Studios. There was like probably a better seat for her than executive producer for Everwild, as Everwild had been taking too long for development. But yeah, we did just get news. It was a smaller story that came out that that Luis O'Connor who was the executive producer, is now chief of staff at Xbox Game Studios. What that means for Xbox Game Studios remains to be seen. But I'm glad that the Rare staff that was let go or subsequently like not really left with much direction after the cancellation of Everwild, finding new homes, or at least in projects that they might be able to like enjoy.
Yeah. I know that a bunch of the Crystal Dynamics people were picked up by a different studio or something like that, and that's interesting to me because we got word that like Perfect Dark was canceled by Xbox and then shopped to Take-Two because they were working with, because Crystal Dynamics and the Initiative were working together. Crystal Dynamics is under Embracer. Embracer likes shopping stuff, but then Take-Two was interested, willing to pay, willing to get it, but wanted control of the IP. Xbox wouldn't relinquish it. And so it was canceled. Then it had new, like possibly like an injection, and then canceled again. And if you want to use that verbiage, I didn't quite see it as cancel again, but I saw it being reported that way, and I thought it was a fun take. But also I think it's interesting that like Xbox said no to giving up the IP, but yet has no plans to use it. Christopher Dring coming out and saying that like in order to get Perfect Dark across the finish line, it would need another $80 to $90 million. And it's just a reminder to me again that like you don't need to spend that much to make a good game. You like, I don't mean that in like a silly way, but you just don't need every feature, every blade of grass, everything. And we spent how long talking about Team Cherry, and like you don't need to have everything to be successful.
I mean, look at Expedition 33. Talented people making a great game for not nearly as much as most people have spent on games that have failed. And doing really, really well with it. I think it comes down to the talent. Yeah. Another great example. Baldur's Gate.
It's just one of those things. Good shout out to Chris Jones in the chat. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. From ILP.
Iron Lord. Yeah.
That's right. And then Pixel Slapper says, I feel a thing in the Force, Luke. I don't, is that good?
Should you be feeling a thing?
It's like, should you? Question mark. Good to see you, Pixel. I hope you're doing well.
Consensual.
Let's see here. We talked about that one. Just worth pointing out. We're now in September. Borderlands is set to arrive, Logan.
It is in September too.
We didn't get a code for that one. I don't even know who to ask on that one. That's above our
Randy Pitchford. You actually got to message him. You got to bump into him at a medieval times.
Yeah. Several people get that joke, and it's funny. But that's right around the corner. Followed by a couple other things, but then we're on the eve of October, which to me is interesting because you've got 3 first-party titles in October. 3, which is Keeper out of Double Fine, Ninja Gaiden 4 out of somebody who I forget, and Outer Worlds 2. Ninja Theory? Is it Ninja Theory? No, that's not right. I forget.
Team
Ninja. Bottom line, man, 3 first-party games in October. 1 in November with Call of Duty. Silly season. Game Pass. Yep.
It's wild, dude. And to think that we're going to be getting Call of Duty first party in November, like the second or third week of November, right after that. Keeper's an interesting one. You know, like so many people wanted a Banjo-Kazooie game after Psychonauts 2, and we're getting this game, which is an interesting take. It's an indie game. It's weird, but I feel like Double Fine know how to make good games. So I'll be curious to see how people get into this because it's on Game Pass. There's a low barrier to entry, but again, going back to the kind of theme that I have for this episode, Zeitgeist is not doing this any favors right now. When you have so many other big games coming out this year, something as forgettable as Keeper really doesn't really speak to the type of game that it is unless there's story elements that are kind of revealed later on as you start to play this game. I kind of worry that it's going to kind of fall by the wayside, and that then Double Fine is going to be looking at at the bill come due from Satya Nadella.
They're going to be hi-fi rushed.
Where's the money? And they're going to be like, well, we made a great game and it's on Game Pass. So, marketing, I don't know.
They're going to get hi-fi rushed out the door.
Oh my God.
I couldn't help it, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a thing.
I know.
I've seen more marketing for the Outer Worlds 2 and Ninja Gaiden 4 than I have for Keeper, which
makes sense, right?
You still have Keeper is a first party title. Why aren't they marketing this? They should be pushing this to get people to understand why this game is worth playing, as opposed to being like, it's a lighthouse. There's a bird.
Did they market, in your opinion, in this thought experiment we're doing, did they market South of Midnight and Avowed well?
South of Midnight was all right. They had that weird kind of like go into the Two-Toed Tom play session out in Louisiana on the bayou for a limited weekend. But I really didn't see, and full disclosure, I don't cut ads on most of my social medias or like YouTube or stuff like that. Like I go see movies and I see like what they're showing on advertisements for like Twitch and whatnot. So I tend to see a lot of the advertising that they do. But I've already seen like Discord promotions for Ninja Gaiden 4. I've already seen multiple ads for Outer Worlds 2. I have not seen hardly anything for Keeper, and that may be my algorithm, but I try to keep it as neutral as possible.
Mm-hmm. You said do, and I'm a child, so I just wanted you to know.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm sorry. Again.
Oh my God.
What are you gonna do? Let's see here. 1 and 2.0. Oh, this is a small thing, and it's fixed now, thankfully. But Xbox had an update rolling.
Yeah,
that was crashing consoles. Crashed mine. I had to like reset up my Xbox as if it was brand new out of the box. It was weird, and I was like, "Did I get hacked?" I just want to spread democracy. I was like, "Is this the Terminids or this is the automaton? Like, what's going on here?" But no, it was just an update that was broken, and now it's back. It's working. But I just thought it was one of those like, wait, what? Did I lose anything in this process? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird when it happens to console players because they don't have that kind of experience. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here ripping out the power supply for my PlayStation, cutting zip ties, unstrapping cords, and rerouting cables to plug them into a motherboard and snap parts in and stuff to rescrew in a thing. And I'm like, God, I hate this sometimes, but it's so nice to have something so powerful. And, console players are like, my system doesn't start.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I am that pleb. I want it to work. I don't want to deal with a single bit of setup. Because for me, unlike many of our friends, and like I'm thinking about our buddy Bacon in this case, Bacon seems to genuinely enjoy building the PC, setting up, getting the Mac set, getting the monitor. Like that's a joy unto itself. To me, that's the meta game for a lot of those people like our friend Bacon that wants to go through that process. Yeah. I do not want to commit any brain power to that. I'm usually fried, and gaming is the opposite for me, right? Because I'm critically thinking all day. When I turn on my Xbox, I just want it to work. So it's interesting when it does happen to us. It's like, oh, what do I do?
Yep. So, yeah, it's very strange how it all comes out. I still think that PC building is like adult Legos for those.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy, and rock on. Oh, look at that. Go ahead. Let's put that one up. What did the nerd chat say?
That's funny. The nerd chat comes in building a PC is like adult Lego. It's an amazing hobby.
Good timing.
Oh, that's perfect. That's fantastic.
The other kind of small news, somewhere in all of this madness of the last week, Indiana Jones DLC came out.
I know.
Logan, for the life of me, man, I haven't heard a thing about it. Now I've been under a rock. Really? Not a single thing. Like I didn't even get a press release email. So either I'm not cool, but like that surprises me given all the other stuff we get. And I don't know, like it's just interesting.
Okay, so this is a weird one, right? Because I've seen the marketing for this, and I genuinely would love to jump into it, but I haven't actually finished the game all the way through yet. Like I'm barely past the second act. So I'm genuinely looking forward to getting back into Indiana Jones because I was really enjoying my time with it to the point where I kind of wanted to go back to actually like complete some of the stuff that I didn't get to complete in the first section. And looking at the Giants DLC, I'm like, okay, this looks cool. It looks funny. I like the comedy that somehow Troy Baker is able to manage. Bringing Indiana Jones to life in a way that I didn't think anyone outside of Harrison Ford could, which is genuinely like heartwarming as like a fan of Indiana Jones. But we're talking about a $40 DLC for a game that was introduced through Game Pass. Now, for Sony people, we're already out of the box because they're not going to buy Indiana Jones to begin with. So asking for $40 on top of the $60 that they were asking for the base game, we know they're not going to be playing it at all. For Xbox fans, they're going to have to find the justification for having to buy the DLC outside of it, much like we see with other stuff like this when they do kind of like that Shattered Space or Vessel of Hatred for Diablo or Starfield. There's a buy-in for this, and unless you're a diehard indie fan, you really enjoyed it, it's going to kind of fall to the wayside. Because it's going up against $20 Silksong, which is like a 6-year anticipated zeitgeist of a game coming out of nowhere. You got all these other titles that are coming in, and stuff like a DLC, if people haven't finished the game like myself, are going to hold off. And people that have finished it and are moving on to something else that is fresh, like Helldivers, that's $40 too, and people only have so much money. It was kind of what we were talking about a while ago when we were trying to decide what game would sell the best in October with Battlefield 6, and Zeitgeist saying probably going to be Battlefield at this point.
Yep.
So there's only so much people are willing to spend a month in games. There's only so much time that people have, because time is also a currency in this aspect. And it's kind of a shame that if Indiana Jones's DLC doesn't go great, they may scrap any future DLC for the game or a sequel in general, which would kind of be a bummer for the indie fans out there who are genuinely enjoying this.
Yeah. And I hope they're enjoying it. I just don't think that IP is going to land the numbers they hoped. Right.
Well, do we know what they hoped, though?
We don't.
That's a question.
Of course, we do not. And it's a good question. I'm just thinking like you had to talk to Disney. You had to get Harrison Ford's likeness. You had to activate on a bigger, larger universe level story. Like that's what I'm thinking. It's like, was it worth the effort? I don't know, mind you, to be clear to our audience. We know that I haven't played it. And so I'm not speaking ill of it. I'm asking the question.
What I will say is if Lucasfilms is anything like what they were when they were reaching out to Sea of Thieves to do the collaboration with A Pirate's Life for the Pirates of the Caribbean content that they made.
Great content, by the way.
They are actively looking for good partners to build games for IPs that they own. They worry less about the return on investment because it's a growth in an IP that is currently dead. So I think if they still hit decent metrics for Indiana Jones for Xbox, then Lucas and Disney will still look at that as a cost-efficient investment and will allow for continued development. But there's no way to know those kind of numbers. There's no way to find out like what the deal was.
Right. Good point.
Unless there's a lawsuit. Maybe there's a lawsuit we could start.
Somebody call the FTC.
Yeah.
See if we can get some numbers out of this. Last thing that was on my radar, Logan, I did not put this in the notes and I apologize.
How dare.
The 007, we got a deep dive reveal.
Yep.
I don't want to spend too much time on it. The first half of this 35-minute trailer, deep dive, looks like Hitman. It looks like it's just Hitman. You could have told anybody that it was Hitman 3, World of Assassination, and cool. That's what it is. The second half, that's where it separates itself from Hitman to being something unique, and it becomes a pure action game. So if you are interested in 007 First Light, like I am, because I love Bond.
Dead IP.
Is it? I don't think it is.
Honestly, after Daniel Craig Smith, or Daniel Craig's Daniel Craig's like exodus out of the franchise, we have not. And I think honestly, I think the Broccoli's are out too when it comes to the IP ownership. I think it's just Amazon MGM that own it right now. We have not seen like any kind of growth in the Bond franchise for a while.
I'm sorry.
I feel like we're getting a little too close to that like indie realm of like, do people still remember what Bond is?
So a very good observation, but I think it's a good thing that we're actually getting this little break, because when you look at the Bonds and the Bond films from back all the way back to Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Tim Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, when you look, I feel like the most start to finish complete story arc was Daniel Craig's Bond.
Oh,
and
yeah.
A bit 100%. Of time removed is good, because Tom Cruise is doing his thing. Mission Impossible still going strong.
Yeah.
The
Bournes Bond are finished.
What is it?
The Jason Bourne, Bourne identities, those are done.
Right. So the super secret agent, you had Kingsman kind of in there if you count that one.
Yeah.
But let Bond reset, because the best part about Craig's Bond is that there was a high level of fighting. There was some parkour elements in the first one. There was a lot of espionage, a lot of heartbreak. It was a complete element. Let it rest to figure out what you want to do, because what you don't want to do is restart too soon, because people weren't sure with Pierce Brosnan. It's like, is this a continuation? Is it not? It's the same one. Like, so allow it to live a bit separately.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But I will say, like 007 First Light, I'm very interested in this game. I'm going to be getting it right away. But this deep dive, I think, was poorly shown for anyone that didn't know what they wanted, because the first half just looks like Hitman. They should have flipped it, or at least chunked it up. You get a lot of action, then you're into the Hitman mode, then you're back into action. I think that would have probably served them a bit better, because I don't see a lot of views on this bad boy, and it's 2 days old.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to make the Bond IP relevant so you don't fall into an indie territory, this may not have been it. But I know I'm day one, or depending on my schedule, like I'm in on this one. I want this one.
Yeah, I did not get to watch the trailer. I want to sit down and actually do the due diligence of giving it its time to be able to watch and stuff. Because I mean, I love Bond. I genuinely have loved Bond since Roger to Sean to Timothy, Pierce and Craig. They've all done. I'm not going to name the one dude that came in for that one film. Nobody even remembers who it was.
Yeah.
There's always been a different type of Bond with each arc that they've done. I hope that First Light is a way for us to kind of step away from the expected tie-ins to the current Bond, because we don't currently have a new Bond. And I'm hoping that we all said it when they announced this, like, IOI is the studio to be making a Bond game. Like, Hitman is effectively a Bond game from a different perspective. And I genuinely think that this will be a great game because of the history that the studio has, and them getting this IP is a perfect fit. I trust them way better than I trust half of the other studios out there trying to revamp old IPs like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff. Like, there's just, this is a good fit. And while I haven't seen the deep dive on it, I have faith that they understand the homework here, and that it'll pull through. But I haven't gotten to watch it. That being said, I can't wait to actually give it a chance, just because of the fandom behind Bond.
Yep, fair. I'm with you. Logan, I feel like we have. Oh, sorry, George Lazenby.
Lazenby, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Todd.
I guess we could say his name.
I feel like that kind of knocks it out. I appreciate that Xbox made new controllers. I feel like that's not news anymore at this point.
Yeah, they're always making controllers.
Right? Constantly doing that.
Always.
Who's buying all these things?
Some poor schmuck out there.
Yeah, if you're, I'll credit my friends at the Nerd Chat for saying it first, but I feel this way. if it's not an Elite 3 and it's not on par with the Wolverine from Razer, no thank you. So
which one, the wired or the wireless one?
Well, I don't have the wireless one, but I have the wired one, and I still love it. I wanted to make a video on it too. It's just life.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. But I will preach to the high heavens that I love that wired controller.
One thing I do want to shout out to September Game Pass games. I Am Your Beast is already out. So as Hollow Knight Silksong and Cataclysmo. Paw Patrol World is coming out on the 10th, which I know we do at times, but we don't always champion the kid-friendly games out there. And this is one of those kid-friendly games that I think, for adults that are looking to have something on their Xbox for the kids. Yeah. Paw Patrol is a very popular franchise, and that's coming to Game Pass on the 10th. And then we've got Roadcraft coming out on the 16th, which I totally misspelled in the show notes there. So not as good of a lineup as I think a lot of people would hope for, but we've also got a lot of really good stuff coming out in October that most of our audience will probably be getting into for October and stuff. So
that's the thing. Like, what more can they do? If you put Hollow Knight Silksong, let everything else. You know what I mean? There's what else could you put on there that would compete or get attention?
Yep.
And Paw Patrol, to your point, that's exactly what people that have those kids want to play. Rock on.
Yep.
Do it. Games
also,
for everybody.
Todd makes an interesting one that talks about the 8-bit duos docks for the new controllers. I just picked up this dock right here is a two controller dock that lights up. It's clear. I got the black version because the back panels on it are black as well too. It's a fantastic little dual controller charger. And I have to say, one of the biggest pet peeves that I have is that 8-bit Duo makes fantastic, and Razer makes some fantastic controller docks for all these new controllers that are coming out, but they're all single ones, and I like having multiple controllers charged at a time. So that was a good pickup that I picked up last week.
Nice. There you go. Okay. Cool. Are you planning to play Chronos New Dawn?
Probably not. Probably too spoopy for me, but I love the look. I love the vibe that it gives. It looks amazing, but probably a bit too spoopy for me. I'll probably watch some folks play it, to be honest. I'll probably jump into some Twitch streams or have them up on the TV and stuff because I love watching that stuff. I've been watching Goosebumps and Haunted Mansion lately, dude. I'm already I've already got, you can't see it, but I already have Halloween decorations up in my apartment. Nice. And I went out with a chick and we went and we went to TJ Maxx and found like a whole slew of like Halloween house stuff. So I'm like, you can already see like it, the throw that I picked up, the skeleton throw so I'm ready for the spoopy stuff. It's fantastic. So I would love to watch folks. If you wanted to be bold enough to go live and play through Chronos on XEP's channel,
first
I would watch that.
I'd love to, because I love spooky as well.
Yeah.
But I don't have the time.
Schedule the time, hour or two a night.
The moment I get off here,
I'm
back into writing.
Yep.
So back to writing and reading. There's just no time right now. But once coaching is done, I'll be fine. But that's in 2 months. So
brutal. We'll be out of spoopy season by then.
Right. And so I'm going to make sure I can do whatever I can to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, man. Well, that is it for me. Anything else that you want to call out, shout out for anything? I'm going to quickly thank everybody that super chatted. We had James Suddy and Ken Rosing super chat, as well as Split End gifting an XEP membership. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
I think I'm good. I don't think there's really, there's a lot of news. We're finally in the season of game releases, and I'm looking at the backlog of stuff that I've purchased or started that I just have not actually gotten a chance to finish playing. Like, I still want to go back and finish like Grounded 2 with A-Chick and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't know how or when. I have so many other TV shows and stuff that I want to watch as well. I don't know how Todd does it, honestly. I'm pretty sure Todd has a clone. And that's how he's able to like enjoy all this content while his clone goes and actually is the parent, in the family. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a great time for games and I hope everyone's enjoying Silksong.
Yep. Play the stuff you like, guys. Play the stuff you like. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.